Welcome to Extraordinary League, an actual play RPG podcast brought to you by Smash Fiction. I'm Dan Mulkerin, your game master. Playing Stitch is Kit Mulkerin.
Nico, this is your badness level. It's unusually high for someone your size. You have to fix that.
Playing Dante is Liz Logan.
Going to the bathroom has recently become difficult.
Playing Nico Minoru is Miles Schneiderman.
So, do you guys think I should go back to using my old code name? Just like no reason, but it was Sister Grimm?
Playing Luna Lovegood is Megan Bob.
Dear Morden, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for keeping us alive in Nexus City. You made it look really easy. I didn't understand that until this mission, so thank you. I also wanted to ask about Nico. Something seems off. Do you know how sometimes Dante was strange when he had Frostmourne? It's a bit like that. If you have any advice on how to talk to her, please write back. I hope things are well back at the castle and that you, Archer, and Venus are doing well. Lots of love, Luna.
Playing Vivian is Claire Mulkerin.
You know, I really appreciate you guys letting me play Vivian. I know she's kind of obscure, but it was really important to me to try playing out a transgender character, and there aren't a lot of them in fiction right now, and, you know, Dan decided to give her a central place in the current story and set this arc on her homeworld, and I just hope I haven't gone too far with asking for all this, you know, being a diva and whatnot. I really don't want her to overshadow any other characters.
You know, when you start talking like that, I just clench up because I know there's a pun coming.
Yeah, it was like the red lights were flashing, DEFCON 1, you know.
Shaggy dog stories that lead up to shadow puns.
Previously, you arrived in the Mushroom Kingdom in search of the blue gem which can help defeat Phyrexia. The gem is held by Princess Peach, currently in hiding from Bowser and his Koopa Troop, who have conquered the kingdom. You dealt quite a blow to the Koopas, however, when you managed to infiltrate Grim Prison and free the hundreds of Yoshis being held captive within. Now, you and the Yoshis are headed toward the secret headquarters of the One United People, the anti-Bowser rebellion currently sheltering Princess Peach. The scene opens in an area of the Mushroom Kingdom known as the Forest Maze, a dense collection of trees and bushes that crowd together, only allowing for the occasional narrow, winding path. These paths seem to have been designed specifically to foil any who enter, meaning that the forest is aptly named. Attempting to navigate the forest maze without a map is just asking to disappear forever. Hidden at the center of the forest maze is the secret base of the resistance movement known as the One United People. The rebels have had to be conservative in their construction, not only because of limited resources, but also because, even hidden by the shadows of the forest maze, they still don't want to grow so large that Bowser's patrols manage to catch sight of them. Nevertheless, through selective logging, donations from rebel sympathizers, and a little bit of actual legitimate magic, the rebels have put together a complex of low wooden buildings, camouflaged from above to blend into the forest canopy. There are members from many of the races of this world counted amongst the rebels, even Goombas and Koopas who turned on their fellows to join the resistance, but the largest group by far resemble short, stocky humanoids with large spotted mushroom caps growing from the tops of their heads. 4 of these mushroom people are standing guard at the southeast entrance to the rebel base when a noticeable tremor begins to shake the ground. The mushroom people exchange a terrified glance and reach for their weapons, mostly consisting of tools and farming equipment, as the tremor grows louder, drawing every eye in the rebels' encampment toward the border, just as a rainbow of hundreds of multicolored Yoshis seems to explode out of the darkened underbrush.
Oh my god, I hope the music in this actual episode is, like, equivalent to the triumph I'm hearing in my head right now.
The rebels are momentarily stunned, but then they raise their fists in triumph, realizing that help has arrived. And arriving with the Yoshis are the 4 members of the Extraordinary League dispatched to this world, as well as their new companion, the Shadow Siren called Vivian.
I would totally jump off my mutual friendship Yoshi riding, and I would, kick down a door and be like, "Hey, what's up? Let's party! We got all the Yoshis!
No.
Who wants a Yoshi ride? Woo! Okay, but you gotta ask, okay? They gotta give permission. Woo!
The mushroom people inside are a little tense, having just heard this, approaching tremor, so when you kick down the door, several of them dive for fire flowers, but within a few minutes, and, after some hilarious misunderstandings and slight singeing, you are allowing them to go out and choose a Yoshi to begin to ride on triumphantly.
Hold on, can Vivian ride things?
I guess that's your call, dude.
There are many of the mechanics of that character that I simply don't understand.
The mood in the camp has gone from tense to jubilant and extremely excited. All of you are basking in the adoration of the rebels as they excitedly speak to the Yoshis and begin to talk about how they're going to be bringing the pain to Bowser and his Koopas. When one of the mushroom people, a particularly short and stocky one with a white cap with red spots, comes up to all of you and announces that Princess Peach has requested an audience with all of you.
I suppose we can pencil it into our schedule.
Yeah, we'd love to meet her.
You are all taken to the centralmost building in the camp. The interior of this building is lit by oil lamps hanging from ceiling crossbeams and sitting on tables, and they all illuminate several maps showing different areas of the Mushroom Kingdom and the surrounding areas in varying degrees of detail and perspective. There are several of these mushroom people gathered around. From the setup, it looks as though they were in the process of preparing some sort of guerrilla military operation, but any thought of planning has been momentarily set aside as they seem only to be able to talk about the arrival of the Yoshis, which they do so with wide-eyed, excited fervor. Presiding over this gathering is the one person here who seems to have the size and proportions you would expect from a normal human being. She has fair skin, blue eyes, and long hair the color of gold, which is currently tied back into a thick ponytail. She's wearing a patchwork set of cobbled-together armor, including mismatched pieces of hide and also pieces of Koopa shells, although you can see pieces of pink cloth here and there, most prominently as a sash cutting diagonally across her waist. She looks up as all of you enter and says, "Greetings. Welcome to our camp. I understand we have you to thank for our new influx of recruits."
I reluctantly acknowledge the quality of her outfit.
All right.
Yeah, same. Luna's really... I love what you're wearing. It's beautiful. Did you make it yourself?
Well, I sort of had to. The clothes I was wearing when I was expelled from the castle weren't exactly suited to the activities I've had to be engaging in.
Wait, are we being assholes by commenting on a woman's clothing before, like, anything else about her? Fuck!
Oh, maybe.
Fuck you,
Although,
society.
a woman in armor, I'm stoked.
I did it first because my character canonically has an interest in clothing, especially when it's homemade.
Sure.
The light side of Nico is just screaming to have a really deep conversation about home crafting right now.
Is that what's going to drag you away from the dark side, Nico? It's just arts and crafts?
It could be.
So Vivian at this point is going to go up to Princess Peach and say, yeah, we were the ones who were responsible for freeing those Yoshis for you. Good to meet you. You've probably heard of me. My name's Vivian.
As you say Vivian, she is also saying Vivian. Like, she clearly recognizes you.
Vivian looks at Peach and then realizes how much taller Peach is. And then I sort of just kind of grow a few inches up until I'm until I'm closer to her height. And just my lower body's now just a narrow spindle of shadow. So I'm now up at her eye level.
Yeah, you have the same body mass. You just kind of stretched it out a little bit. Yeah.
Stitch is gonna walk up to Vivian and try to pull her back down. You're floating away.
But no, Stitch, I've always been this tall. We know Mario likes tall girls. That's his thing, apparently. So I can be tall.
Only when he's on mushrooms.
You do know of me. You heard the stories?
Well, yes, I was somewhat involved in the struggles with the Thousand-Year Door. My memories of that final confrontation are a bit blurry, but I certainly remember you and all of Mario's other friends being there.
Oh yeah, you spent time with the X-Nauts. I remember that whole thing.
Yes, of course.
Those were crazy times. Fun times. Anyway.
As much as I would love to reminisce on this, I do believe we have somewhat more pressing concerns to turn our attention towards at this point.
Oh yeah, Peach, this is Yoshi.
She smiles, and Yoshi actually runs over to Peach and gives her a hug. And she says, "Oh, I recognize him quite well. It's good to see that you're finally out of that prison, my friend." And he just sort of nuzzles into her and goes, "Yoshi."
That's all I wanted, thank you.
I figured that's why you are taking him around, is just so you can occasionally, push him into the spotlight and force me to do the voice. Peach says, "So I take it then that you've all been brought up to speed as to what's been going on in the Mushroom Kingdom with Bowser's takeover."
We understand some of it, but I'm sure you understand quite a bit more, so anything you could add to that.
Well, it's probably nothing you haven't heard before. After a period of peace, the Koopa Troop attacked with no warning, armed with overwhelming weapons and technology. We were overwhelmed, forced to flee the capital city. I've done what I can to rally supporters around me, but there's only so much that we can do up against that type of military and technological might.
Is this the first time you fought them?
No, the Koopa Troop have been a constant enemy to the people of Mushroom Kingdom, but this is the first time that they've attacked with this level of coordination and technology.
That's what I thought.
Is Peach wearing that blue gem that she always wears?
You are not seeing any jewelry on her.
Okay.
She doesn't have her brooch, she doesn't have her crown.
Stitch is gonna kind of walk up to her with his little hands together all cute and says, "We're looking for a blue stone."
A blue stone? So you haven't come to help us then?
Well, in trade. We need help too.
Her hand goes unconsciously to her throat. You're looking for my brooch then?
Maybe.
Well, I'm sorry to say that my brooch, along with all my other jewelry, was left behind in the castle when I was forced to flee.
All right, bye.
We have to go do some musical theater.
Were you aware of it having any magical properties or anything like that?
No, I was never aware of anything. It was passed down from my family for generations past, but as far as I knew, it was just a symbol of my family. Nothing more.
If it happened to, like, get switched out with just, like, a normal blue stone that didn't have any properties, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, right? Is what you're saying?
This is a very strange hypothetical discussion we're having, but if you are searching for my brooch, then, well, it is a family heirloom, but my kingdom and my people are more important, so if that is what you're seeking, then if you can help me to get Bowser and his troops out of the castle, then, well, I would get access to the brooch and I would gladly give it to you as a token of thanks. Can we count on you for your help? You've already done so much by bringing the Yoshis to us, so if you decide to take your attentions elsewhere, then I suppose I can't really stop you, but your help would certainly be welcome as we attempt to take our kingdom back.
No, we'd love to help you. What's your plan to take back the castle from this overwhelming force?
She turns over to her advisors and says, "That is an excellent question. I believe that the time has come to strike back against Bowser, and, well, that means that we have to determine the best way of doing that." The shocked advisors begin to whisper amongst each other. One of them, who is a mushroom person wearing a blue and white outfit that kind of looks like a Revolutionary War general outfit, and his mushroom cap is shaped somewhat like a tricorner hat. He speaks up and says, "With all due respect, Your Majesty, now is the time for us to gather our forces, perform reconnaissance, and construct a plan that can slowly and reliably wear away at Bowser's forces."
You know, we're actually very good spies. Well, for a while, we are very excellent spies. So if you need anybody to be a spy for a finite period of time, we are the people you're looking for.
Along those lines, what if we figured out where he was, and then a meteor hit it? Just like, I'm not saying it will, but what if it did?
You know what? Let's put a pin in that.
Okay.
Peach looks over at Nico and says, "We know where Bowser is. He is in my ancestral home, and while I acknowledge that some collateral damage may be unavoidable, I would prefer to take it in as few pieces as possible. And while your advice is welcome as always, General Washington."
Fuck out of here. Get out.
I'm so proud of you, Dan. I'm so proud of you.
I wish I could take credit for that. That is a character from the Super Mario animated series.
Is it really? Oh my
You
god.
went deep.
Yep. Anyway.
Oh.
However, I must disagree. Bowser holds numerous advantages over us, and turning this into a battle of attrition will always favor him. The greatest advantage we have now is surprise. Up until now, he has been acting with the assumption that he has us on the run, and has been content to spread his forces thin in order to conquer more territory. Once he hears of the Yoshi's breakout, all of that is going to change. The more time that we allow to pass, the more time Bowser has to construct new weapons of war and call his existing troops back to a defensible position. We know the layout of Mushroom Castle, and we have recent scouting information on the placement of his troops there. It's true that with more time and information, we could conceivably attack with greater strength, but Bowser will never be more vulnerable than he is right now. And the assembled Mushroom People advisors nod grimly, setting their jaws in determination. Peach calls all of you over to her and spreads out a large detailed map of Mushroom Castle and some of the surrounding countryside. We have a 3-pronged assault planned. Mushroom Brigade will be leading the ground assault on the castle walls, assisted by Yoshis that can generate earthquakes. Flower Brigade will be their artillery support, performing long-range precision strikes on high-value targets, assisted by Yoshis that spit fire. Star Brigade will be attacking from above, providing air support and hitting enemy troop emplacements and heavy weaponry, and will be assisted by Yoshis with the ability to fly. From what I've heard from the Yoshis, it sounds as though the 5 of you are quite powerful and experienced in battle, so I would like to ask you to join Star Brigade for a special mission.
What kind of special mission?
The area around the castle is thick with patrolling Koopas and robots. Most of the robots are human-sized or smaller, but there are a few models the size of buildings. Those ones are less mobile, but are positioned at specifically chosen choke points, so that it's very difficult to pull off a ground assault on the castle without running into one of them, especially since Bowser has filled the castle moat with lava. The castle walls are manned by other Koopas and robots equipped with long-range siege weaponry, and there are clusters of missile launchers mounted at different places on the walls. According to some of the intel that we've been able to get our hands on, the robots and high-tech weaponry are controlled via a control center deep within the castle that only Bowser has direct access to. But the control signal is amplified by a hidden antenna inside the highest tower in the castle. So destroying or deactivating this antenna will force all of the robots and weapons to undergo a hard restart and will revert to default programming, which will make them significantly more vulnerable to attack, especially without their network coordinating their movements. What I need is a small team that will be able to slip through the enemy forces and take out that antenna. I would prefer not to damage the tower itself if possible, but towers can be rebuilt, so if there's no other way, then that's how it will have to go. This team will be receiving some support from both ground and air units, but we can't devote too much of our forces to this without drawing unwanted attention from the Koopas, hence why we're sending in a small team in the first place. The team will have to hold their own against Koopas, robots, and heavy weaponry for the whole while that they're approaching. I've spent a lot of time working this situation, and I think it's the best solution, but if you have any other ideas or any questions or need any clarifications, I'm listening.
Well, our disguises worked pretty well last time, so I think we could get back in and then just attack Bowser. I don't know.
Well, the problem with that is that I can't cast those spells again.
Oh no. Well,
so
okay, do you have any way of making us invisible? I don't think I do.
I mean, God,
But
I don't know
Vivian,
I don't know if I could do that. It'd be risky.
Okay, Vivian can take us into the or take one of us into the, what's it called, Vivian?
The Shadow Realm, I guess?
The Shadow Realm. I have my broom, so I could get up there, and if we were hidden, I mean, I know my spells aren't as powerful as yours, but I could probably destroy part of the antenna. Kick it, maybe. Wait, what if Stitch, can you fly a broom?
Stitch actually stopped listening to Peach like a fourth of the way through her speech.
Okay.
He's with Lace, like sniffing around for shit.
Okay.
I could definitely fly a broom if it's anything like a motorcycle, which it probably is. It's an air motorcycle.
The broom will not survive, just so you know.
We should definitely try and take advantage of Vivian's stealth abilities, I think, right? Because that's the thing you can do.
Yes.
Well, Nico, you're good with powerful magic.
We could land on the tower or get close to it. I could go and I could take one other person with me and we could go in to destroy the antenna while the rest of the group flies away. And if we immediately go invisible when we get on the tower, they won't think that anyone's there and they might think that we've scared them off. And everyone else can, like, go off and be a distraction, so we don't have to fight people directly. We can, like, pull them away from the tower, and then while they're gone, me and whoever else is hiding with me can pop out from the shadows and destroy the antenna.
That works for me. Who would you want to go with you?
I'm not sure. If Luna's skilled in the air with the broom, she should probably be on the distraction duty.
Mm-hmm.
Stitch's head is now stuck in a piranha plant.
As you guys are discussing potential plans of attack, Peach does mention that she does want to be on the team that is, going in on this mission. She doesn't necessarily have to be the one that sneaks into the antenna if you want to do the stealth route, but she does want to be involved when you guys do your attack. Also, presumably, Yoshi will help you if you request it as well.
Duh, he's my steed.
I think I should go with you, Vivian. We don't know what it's gonna take, and I am the most versatile person there.
Cool.
Yoshi, would you accompany me in battle?
It would be my greatest honor.
High five! Camera freeze frame.
That is seriously just the best accent you've ever done.
I want to say that Dante's been practicing high five camera freeze frame with Yoshi, where they just high five and completely hold their motion. So it's just like everyone is still moving around them. They're just like caught in this moment of ecstasy.
God. Y'all need matching sunglasses, is all I'm saying.
Does anyone else have anything they want to nail down about what they want to be doing during this?
Stitch walks back with wearing a piranha plant as like a hat, and the pot is still attached and everything. It's a fully still alive piranha
Just
plant.
chewing slowly on your
upside
head.
down.
He doesn't feel it, but yeah, it's there. He's just like, what's happening?
It sounds like the plan then is you guys make an attack run on the tower. Vivian and Nico go stealthy, and the rest of you fake a retreat, which will then hopefully draw the Koopa forces away from the tower, allowing Vivian and Nico to strike the antenna directly.
That sounds about right to me.
Okay.
This sounds
That
awesome.
sounds great. Who's gonna ride with a Lakitu?
I mean, there are Lakitus if you guys want. There's winged Yoshis aplenty if you'd prefer to use one of them.
But you must ask.
You must ask. Thank you, Dante. You can probably wrangle up various bits of, like, flying accessories from the Mario games if you want to grab, like, a wing cap or a cape or something.
Yes.
What's the little raccoon? Is that the raccoon where he could fly?
Yeah, the raccoon suit kind of glides.
the
but-
Tanuki?
Yeah.
Oh, Stitch is gonna get one of those. I do want a cape for Lace.
Okay.
I imagine Dante's going to be walking around handing out pamphlets that he's written about, like, consent when riding Yoshis. And, like,
Very important.
Luna has never been so proud.
is it possible for us to each grab a power-up before we go, or?
You may.
Cool, are we going to, like, roll on the table and see what we get?
Oh, that'd be fun. Let's do that.
I do have a gigantic table of power-ups that I have made for just this occasion.
I'll grab a random one. That's fine.
I want a random one. I think that'd be fun.
I will also grab a random one.
Cool.
Yeah, I want a random one.
So you guys will be grabbing power-ups. The plan has basically been set and is being passed around to the camp. All of the soldiers are preparing for the assault. Aside from grabbing power-ups, is there anything that you want to do beforehand? You have time to hang around camp, prepare, you can call for scenes if you wish. Yeah, is there anything you want to do before the actual assault on Mushroom Castle begins?
I would kind of like to talk to Dante for a second.
Okay. Where are you guys having your discussion?
We're over by the Yoshi paddock, where Dante has really
that a
taken
thing?
up residence and is just handing out all the apples that there are to be handed.
Yoshi and I are having a really great conversation. I'm like trying to say Yoshi now.
Okay, so are you learning the Yoshi language, Dante?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
trying.
Wow,
Yoshi.
I did not expect the fucking Mario world to be where Dante gets cultured.
I know.
Dante, can I talk to you privately for just a second? How did you feel whenever you had Frostmourne?
I thought that was gonna go in a different direction, but strange. I felt strange. Like I just wanted to rip everything's throat out. Like I wanted to cut my hair in a flock of seagulls type style.
You've spent some time with Nico. Is she different than she was whenever you first met her, or is she the same?
She seems pretty dark and brooding. Quite honestly, she reminds me of someone I used to know named Trish, but not in a weird relationship way.
Do you think you'd know if anything was wrong with Nico, or do you think that everything's fine? I don't know her that well, but she seems upset or something.
Well, have you just tried talking to her? Because, communication is key.
You know
What
what?
is going on?
Here, have this pamphlet.
I think woke Dante is more annoying than...
I am genuinely disturbed here.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this.
Okay, Dante says that, and Luna just looks at him and says, "Can I hug you?"
Well, thanks for asking. That is a good way of asking for consent. I appreciate that. Let's hug.
Okay. Luna's just so proud and also, like, definitely needs a hug because everything has changed so radically.
Couple of things before we go into the battle. First of all, Liz, I assume you want to control Yoshi.
Yes!
Who would like to control Peach?
Yeah, I want to. I like using her in Super Smash Brothers. She's a character I like a lot.
Okay, now that that's done, everyone who said they wanted a random power-up, you're going to have to roll a d29 on this table.
What?
I just got a 24.
Wow, I got a 29.
Okay, 9.
13.
So, Dante, you pulled the hammer.
Oh my god.
Oh, shit.
This is the Donkey Kong hammer. So,
Ooh.
what this means, Dante, you have this stored in your pocket, or wherever, in hammer space, actual literal hammer space. When you draw the hammer, you will lose the ability to do anything other than move, jump, and swing the hammer.
This is so
Makes
appropriate.
sense.
Luna, you got the copy flower. What happened was, this created a clone of you.
Yes.
This clone will imitate every action that you do, Luna. So if you say, you cast a spell on a target, your double will also cast that same spell on that same target. However, the only difference is that your clone has 1 health.
So everything Luna says is in stereo now.
Correct.
Wonderful. The world became a nicer place.
Yeah, that's true. The world can always use more Luna.
Okay, so I don't have to be sad if something happens to
No,
me.
it's just a mirror of you, basically.
Okay. All right. I feel better.
Vivian, and I swear this is what you rolled.
Uh-huh.
You rolled the Super Bell, which means you get the cat suit.
Yeah! Woohoo! Does Vivian have legs now? If it's like a jumper thingy with like little feet that have cat paws.
Yeah, I'll let you decide how this is shaken up with your particular anatomy. If it just tailors itself to your body shape, or if there's just 2 empty legs hanging down.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. Why don't we say that my body now trails off to a cat tail?
That's good.
I like that.
So
I
I'm
like that a lot,
a
actually.
cat mermaid thing with no legs. Don't even worry about it.
Oh, cat mermaid.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So Vivian, you now have a claw attack. You also have typical wall crawling and good leaping.
Nice.
And Nico, you rolled the magic number 29. You got the superstar,
Oh, fuck.
which means you have remarkable speed, immunity to damage, and Shift X strength.
What?
Nico has the superstar basically tucked away. It lasts for 1 turn. So you may
Okay.
choose when to use it.
I hope the castle's still standing at the end of this.
We see Mushroom Castle off in the distance on a hill overlooking Toad Town. Toad Town, of course, has always sat just outside of the castle, and while until recently it was a bright, cheerful place, the recent occupation by the Koopas has not been kind to this village. The stone and wood buildings that remain standing have been coated in a fine layer of grime from the industrial pollution hanging heavy in the air, and makes the sky appear a sickly yellow. The formerly green grass has wilted and died. The native mushroom people have been driven out, while high-ranking members of the Koopa Troop have brazenly taken over their buildings and live in gleeful debauchery under the watchful eye of the robots that roam the streets and keep watch overhead. In a scene similar to the one in the forest maze from earlier, some of the robots and Koopas near the southern edge of the town hear an approaching rumble before a rainbow tide of Yoshis comes surging over a hill and charging down toward the town. Unlike in the forest maze, however, the arrival of the Yoshis causes an outright panic amongst the people living in Toad Town. Alarms are raised as the one united people flood toward Mushroom Castle, crashing into enemy forces like a tidal wave. The Koopas scramble to respond appropriately, but the robots have no such hesitation. Large numbers of squat humanoid robots with rounded orange bodies and dome-shaped heads form the bulk of the robotic forces. Fast-moving robots with a body shape somewhat suggestive of an ostrich come speeding out on 2 legs, launching barrages of missiles from their sides. There are robots in a shape similar to beetles, which launch cannonballs from long forward-pointing barrels, and those are just the most common models. There are smaller numbers of more unusual models, which strike into the rebel forces unexpectedly. The skies, too, are filled with the clash of enemy forces, as mushroom warriors mounted on winged Yoshis do battle with Koopa paratroopers, flying Goombas, and of course the robots, bug-shaped, bird-shaped, humanoid-shaped, on ground and in the air. The rebels hit the entrenched enemy forces hard, but the Koopas and their robotic allies are dug in hard and make their enemies fight for every inch of ground. The sounds of flying missiles, blazing lasers, and cacophonous explosions all blend together into a relentless, chaotic drumbeat. And flying into this chaos comes the Extraordinary League. So, what are all of you mounted on, or riding, or how otherwise are you flying into this fray?
Yoshi.
Dante's on
clearly.
Yoshi.
Is Yoshi flying right now? Did he eat a blue shell or something or whatever?
Yes, Yoshi has a blue Koopa shell, which has given him wings.
me and Nico could each be on a Luna side by side so that we can do the sweep by. Although that is a little precarious if one of the Lunas gets poofed.
Baby, you only got one life to live. Just fucking do it.
Cool.
All right.
I don't care if we're in a multi-life world.
So, between Nico and Vivian, which one is on the copy Luna?
I feel like Nico would probably be the safest, because if she was falling to her death, she could pretty easily save herself. Whereas Vivian, maybe not.
Alright, so Vivian is on the real Luna's broomstick, and Nico is on the fake Luna's broomstick. Stitch and Lace, I imagine, are flying in using their new power-ups. The Tanuki suit and the super cape, respectively.
Oh yeah, so Lace is soaring in like a fucking superhero with her majestic yellow cape. And Stitch is right by her in an adorable little Tanuki outfit. Also with the piranha plant still attached to his head.
Nice.
And Peach, I'm going to say, is flying on the back of another Yoshi. Another winged Yoshi. You guys are flying into this large, chaotic battle scene. There are two obvious paths that you can take as you head toward Mushroom Castle. You can either attempt to fight your way through the large aerial melee where most of the fighting is going on, or you can attempt to cut through some of the areas where the fighting is less prevalent or non-existent, but those areas are empty because of the large, obvious clusters of surface-to-air missile launchers which have been set up on the ground below. So neither path is going to be without peril, but you can choose one or the other, or if, again, you have another way of getting through this crush of enemy forces, then go for it.
I'm down to fight some air stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
I like our chances against that much better than I like our chances against surface-to-air missiles.
Yeah, harder to punch a missile.
So you all fly into the main area of melee out in the sky, and as you begin to exchange blows with flying Koopas and robots, I'm going to need each of you to make your choice of fighting, strength, endurance, or intuition checks.
Jesus, really, Dan? Nothing I'm good at? I got a green.
Yellow. Yoshi got a green.
I got a white.
Vivian got a white, Peach got a yellow.
Stitch got a green with endurance, Lace got a green with fighting.
So, those of you that got yellow results take 10 damage. Those of you that got green results take 20 damage.
Jesus.
Those of you that got white results take 40 damage.
Oh, Vivian's down to 4. My specialty is avoiding things via my evasion, not taking hits, so...
I'm right there with you, buddy.
I will point out, Claire, you might want to check Peach's character sheet for some useful powers.
Oh yeah! Let's see what we got.
Luna, I will leave it up to you. If you would prefer, your copy could have taken that blow instead of you.
But then it would be gone.
Correct, it would be gone, but you would avoid taking any damage. It's your call.
And there would be no additional negative consequences to any members
Nope.
of the party.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Alright, and in addition, as you all are fighting your way through the Koopas and the robots, there is a buzzing sound, and this swarm of small flying bee-like robots is weaving this zigzag pattern and begins to fly amidst all of you, and they all sort of like converge almost like an arrow or like making a fist, and they just slam into Stitch midair.
Ooh.
You're trying to twitch your little raccoon tail in order to stay upright and stay in the air. I'm gonna need you to make an agility check to see how quickly you can recover, or if you're gonna be eating pavement at the end of all this.
Fucking yellow. Can I narrate?
Yeah.
Something cool?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so it does totally like knock me through the air, but he grabs it while he's flying through and he rips its wings off and they both go tumbling into the ground.
Oh, one of the robots?
Oh yeah, the fucking bee thing that like hit me.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going down with me.
Okay, yeah.
But like, you know, he lands smoothly enough and just like brushes himself off.
Yeah, and then you just like twitch your tail and start flying up very slowly again.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so you take one of the bee robots out and manage to turn what was otherwise a deadly fall into an awesome fall. So you have all broken past the main fighting. You are basically on a straight shot toward the castle, when suddenly, rising up from a hidden silo built into the ground, is a towering robot many stories tall. It has the same squat, rounded humanoid body shape of many of the ground units, but this one is made out of gray and black metal, and it locks on with a single glowing red eye on its swiveling dome-shaped head as you are all approaching. This thing is going to attempt to take you guys on. I leave it up to you if you want to try to fight it, if you want to try to get past it somehow, if you want to do something else to it. It's your call.
How big is it?
Probably about 10 stories tall.
What do you guys think? Do you want to all fight it together, or do we want to leave some people to fight behind, and then like Luna and me and Nico can just like go ahead and we can get dropped off, and then you guys can fight it without us? What are you feeling?
Yeah, let's fucking do it. We'll be the distraction team, and you're the small strike team.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Everyone, including the small strike team, roll initiative.
Stitch got a 3.
10.
6.
Vivian got an 11. Peach got a 9.
I go on an 11 as well.
Liz, what did Yoshi get?
Well, his intuition is typical, and I rolled a 2, so...
So a 2. So yeah, Nico, you are up first.
Nico's gonna motion to Peach, just like a hand gesture. I don't know if she interprets it anyway, but it's like, follow us.
Yeah, she picks up on what you're putting down.
So I'm gonna say pitch black. And the deal with this is that it's gonna be like pro wrestling, right? Where like, you're in the middle of a fight, and all the lights go off, and when they come back on, something like somebody's vanished or somebody's appeared.
Miles, we need to start a new drinking game, which is whenever you're describing the effect of a spell you want, and you start with, so it's like in pro wrestling when...
It's the best way I can think to describe the effect of the spell, because what I want it to be is darkness, quickly, come back, we're gone.
Yeah, that I can totally see it. Let's see if the dice agree with you.
Alright. Oh, fuck yes, green! I needed a 31, I got a 32.
Nice. Yeah, so as you raise up the Staff of One, for a couple of seconds, the world goes completely dark.
Yeah, just like everything.
Yeah, exactly. The world of the Mushroom Kingdom
Yes.
goes dark. And then a moment later, everything is restored to normal, with the exception that now Peach and her Yoshi, Luna, Nico, Luna's doppelganger, and Vivian are now nowhere to be seen. Which leaves Dante, Yoshi, Stitch, and Lace just real out there and vulnerable to this giant robot.
We'll be fine. We got this.
We'll be fine.
It's the dream team again.
Vivian, it is your turn. You have managed to slip past the giant robot for the time being.
So I'm thinking about the visuals of this, and I have a small like amendment that I want to make to what it looks like when Vivian's in her catsuit. Because when you're in the catsuit, you like walk on 4 legs. I really want Vivian to have 4 legs and a little cattail. Like she just now has 2 extra legs. Because the suit also matches like your theme color, so hers would be like a dark purple. And I like the idea of Luna having a black cat on the end of her broom.
Okay.
Heck yes.
Visual canon established.
I just wanted to be clear. This is like Kiki's delivery service we're doing right here.
Very good.
So yeah, if we're through, I guess I'm probably just gonna hold, because if there's nothing directly threatening us, I think we're good, right?
You can see that up ahead, you guys are going to have to go over the castle walls in order to get to the tower. And you can see that there are Koopas and missile emplacements on the castle walls. So that is something you will have to deal with. If you want to, make a preparation now or try to do something in advance, you can. Otherwise, you can just kind of hang out and wait for something else to happen.
Based on my powers, there's not a whole lot that I can do right now. I'm just going to hold my action until there's something threatening that enters our line of sight.
Cool. So yeah, if something happens and you want to react to it, just let me know and I will put you back in the initiative order.
Sure.
Dante, it is your turn.
If any 2 chucklefucks can distract a giant robot, it's us.
What are we working with on the backside of the robot?
Oh no.
Don't you mean what's the robot working with, Liz?
No!
The backside of the robot actually looks more or less identical to the front side of the robot. The robot is weirdly symmetrical where, it's designed so that the head just like swivels around and the arms are equally like flexible in both directions. So yeah, its front and back are kind of interchangeable.
I want to fly around and then land on its neck and then just stay on the back of its neck, like Shadow of Colossus style.
To be clear, its head is like a dome that rises directly from its shoulders, but you can like land, around its shoulders or like on the edge of its dome or something along those lines.
Yeah.
When it swivels its dome around, you have to like hang on for dear life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're leaping off of Yoshi?
No, Yoshi's on it too, but I want to punch at it with my Terminator hand. Try to find the weak point.
So Yoshi's basically flying down, the 2 of you are like landing and you just start punching is what you're going for.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, give me a fighting check.
Oh my god, red.
All right, so you pull back your fist and smack this thing as hard as you can with your robot fist and your demon-empowered muscles. You hit this thing real hard, and the robot actually kind of reels a bit from your attack, but it doesn't look like you actually hurt it. It took 0 damage from your attack. That brings us to Peach.
So she's going to use therapy. She'll use it on Nico.
So Peach spreads both of her arms upward, and there's this glowing blue light that spreads over Nico. Nico, you are fully healed.
Thank you, Your Highness.
My pleasure. Luna, it is your turn. You and your doppelganger are the bus, apparently, that is going to get this small strike team in. So what would you like to do?
I'm going to take this opportunity to cast Patronus again. And if I cast it and it works, does that mean that my doppelganger now has 41 health?
That is correct. Your doppelganger will have a force field.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, cheat assist.
Get ready to survive this, Doppeluna.
New best friend.
Doppeluna
Alright.
turns to her right and says that to no one.
That's right. So, Luna, I need you to roll your psyche for me, please.
Okay, and I am spending karma on this. Yellow.
Your Patronus charm comes back up, so you are now fully shielded, as is your doppelganger.
I high-five my doppelganger, and it probably does not work.
Probably not.
I put out my other arm at the same time. I have both arms out so that way my doppelganger will hit one of them.
So, Dante, the giant robot that you and Yoshi are on, its big dome-shaped head swivels around to try to point its big red eye at you. The eye begins to glow with a very ominous red light.
That's probably fine.
Dante, Yoshi's reflexes kick in, and he leaps to the side as a red beam of destructive energy lances out from this thing's eye. You can see the air around it is sparkling as the air molecules are ionized by this thing. Way off in the distance, you can see, like, the top of a mountain kind of, like, slide off. And Stitch, it is your turn.
Stitch is going to allow himself to land right next to the foot of this thing.
Okay.
Another notch in the bedpost. So we're doing.
He's gonna scooch up the little sleeves on his tanuki suit.
Uh-huh.
He's gonna spit in his hands, rub them together.
Oh my god.
Ew.
He's gonna
Do
grab
some
this
stretches.
and grabs the leg, and he's gonna try and like fucking slam this bitch into the ground.
Give me a strength check, Stitch.
Karma. I will take it to a yellow.
Stitch, you put your fingers beneath this thing's foot and begin to lift. And you feel a strange sensation, as for a moment, it does not move, which is a thing that has never happened to you before.
Wow.
You plant your feet, redouble your efforts, and slowly, agonizingly, you lift this thing above your head and then slam it down into the ground.
You.
It takes 10 damage from your attack.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Wow.
Dante, it is Yoshi's turn.
What does the robot's eye look like?
Yeah, it's basically just like a single giant round eye.
Okay, can Yoshi's tongue wrap around the Robo Red Eye and eat it and turn it into an egg?
Yeah, he absolutely can make the attempt.
Let's do that. Karma, because I really want to see this happen. I'm gonna take that shit to a red.
As the robot is lying on its back attempting to stand up, Yoshi darts over to its eye, and before the robot can activate its laser, Yoshi's tongue flicks out, sticks onto the front of the eye, and yanks it out of its socket.
Yeah!
Yoshi gulps down the eye and immediately produces a little white and green egg. Dante, now that the eye has been removed, you can see that inside the socket is a lot of very delicate and fragile looking inner circuitry. The team with Peach, Luna, Nico, and Vivian, you guys are closing in on the walls, and as I mentioned, you can see that there are Koopa Troops and missile launchers on the wall, all of which begin to turn their attention to you as you get closer.
I think Vivian's going to use Fiery Jinx now on them.
Great. Yeah, you can target some of them. Do you want to give preferential treatment to the missile launchers or to the Koopas?
Probably missile launchers, those sound more dangerous.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Why don't you roll for that?
I think I'm going to spend some karma, because the damage on this scales a lot depending on what I roll. Oh, I didn't even need to. I just rolled a natural 98. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's dealing monstrous damage to
Damn.
all targets in one area, and they must make agility checks or be set on fire. I can only do this once per encounter, though, so this is my one time.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So Vivian, you point your finger, and there is a gigantic fiery explosion that not only destroys all the missile launchers in your way, but also destroys a sizable portion of the wall, which makes it very difficult for any Koopas to get close enough to even get a shot on you guys. So you guys basically have a clear shot at this point to the tower itself.
All right, let's shoot in there.
Vivian's gonna say, "Oh, sorry, that was a little bigger than I thought. I hope that doesn't draw too much attention to us."
Nico, it is your turn.
So let's shoot ahead. Through the smoke and the flames while everybody's distracted. Nobody's looking, hopefully. And I will, I guess, can I just say, camouflage?
That is entirely a thing you can say. Are you trying to cast it on everyone in your party right now?
Mass camouflage.
There it is. Let's see how you do.
That, I believe, is a green.
With a wave of your staff, all of you seem to fade into the background. Your skin, develops a pattern of sky and ground depending on where you fly. Yeah, that gives you plenty of cover enough that you can get close to the tower. The tallest tower in the castle is easily distinguished not only from its height, but from the large stained glass window, which depicts a looming turtle dragon-looking creature roaring in triumph. Peach gives a momentary humph of dissatisfaction that Bowser replaced her stained glass portrait with one of his own. Dante, it is your turn. You are standing in front of the toppled over robot that has just had its giant eye removed.
I am going to climb up onto that head, hold my robot arm high, and be like, well, this is kind of ironic, and then plunge my fist into the robot's eye. And just do this. Just wiggle my hand around.
So you're trying to give him a lobotomy, basically?
Oh no.
All right, roll fighting for your lobotomy check. I'm sorry, a robotomy.
Ah, dang! It was in my mouth. It was coming out.
Yellow.
Dante, there is a lot of sparks and small flames that seem to be coming up as you do this. The robot takes 70 damage from your attack. It is still up, but a lot of its systems have been damaged. It is Peach's turn.
Sorry, Peach. You got one roll in this. You're a great character,
Heal
but right
bot.
now you're on healing duty, and you're gonna heal me.
So once again, Peach spreads her arms out wide. The blue light this time washes over Vivian, and Vivian, you are now fully healed. Luna, it is your turn. So you guys are coming up on the tower now, and once again, you are playing the taxi cab in this particular operation. So what would you like to do?
Does anybody need anything? Guys, do you need anything?
Maybe like a snack or something. I'm a little hungry.
Oh.
I could go for some crackers or whatever you got.
I mean, I'm about to drop you guys off. I just want to know if you needed any, last minute spells.
You don't have any of that the lucky potion, do you?
You know what? Next time I'm at Castle Grayskull, we should go
We should
brewing
make
together.
some of that. Yeah, I'm down.
I mean, I like some magic things sometimes too.
Oh, do you? Oh, you should come visit. Okay.
I don't
So
want
you guys are
impose.
definitely just sort of hanging out in front of the stained glass
Okay.
window,
This is-
very casually
Yeah.
having this conversation.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I do have these Lunchables. I give. So those are for you, Vivian.
Somewhere Dante is in pain.
But aside from that, I'm gonna hold my turn.
Luna is hovering at a place where the two of you can easily jump off.
Cool.
It is now the giant robot's turn, and the giant robot is going to blindly reach in Dante's direction and swat at Dante with one of its gigantic hands.
No.
Dante, once again, Yoshi is able to dart and weave out of the way as this thing slams down and creates a big old crater right where you were just standing.
Power of friendship.
Nice.
Stitch, it is your turn.
Dante has learned what love is for the first time.
That's right.
How large is that eye socket?
It's big. It's like human size.
Fantastic.
Oh my God. Yes.
Lace is gonna act like that's a ball pit. She don't get all in that.
All right, so Lace is just running directly in there
She's gonna cape jump in that, just dive
and start
Beautiful-
spinning.
Beautiful swan dive, yeah.
All right, make the fighting check for Lace.
Jump.
Okay.
Nom chords.
Lace charges in there and begins tearing into it and deals 60 damage to the giant robot. And that brings us to you, Stitch.
So, this egg that Yoshi just pooped out.
Uh-huh.
Stitch wants to go look at that egg.
Yoshi's carrying it.
Oh, he's carrying his egg.
Yeah.
The one that has the eyeball.
Yes.
Stitch is gonna do like a little like clap hands forward kind of motion to signify that he wants Yoshi to pass him that egg.
Dante, you control Yoshi. Is Yoshi cool with that?
What do you want to do with the egg?
Oh, you're speaking as Yoshi now?
You guys are doing your dueling Stitch voices.
How cute. Trust me. He says with the biggest awful toothy grin.
That's not very convincing, but okay.
All right.
So you have the egg.
Yes. Stitch is gonna crack it open on his knee.
Yeah, the giant robot eye pops out.
Stitch wants to fucking slam dunk on this fool with that eye. I'm gonna go through that eye socket.
All right, you're fastball specialing yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm willing to take off the suit and just take the full fall damage.
Cool. So you basically twitch your tail, fly into the air, and then once you're up high enough, you throw the Tanuki suit off, and you plummet, quickly reaching terminal velocity, and bring this eye back over your shoulder, ready to slam it.
He screams, "Come on and slam!"
Roll a fighting check.
Oh god, I feel like I have to spend karma. Or he's gonna miss
I
completely.
agree.
Alright, yellow it is.
Lace glances up as she's in the middle of tearing this thing out and sees the specter of death approaching from above. Lace quickly leaps out of the eye socket just as Stitch plunges through. There is what sounds like a series of thunderclaps from deep within the metal hull of this giant thing, and then one by one, explosions tear off its arms and legs and tear its body into pieces, and eventually its dome head separates from the rest of its body and flies off into the air like a UFO returning to space. You have destroyed the giant sentinel.
Welcome to the jam.
I'm going to switch over to Vivian now. Vivian and Nico, you guys have arrived at the tower. What do you do?
I'm going to hold out a hand to Nico, and I'm going to say, hold on, I have an idea.
Okay.
Vivian's going to grab onto Nico, and the two of them can, like, leap off together. And then as we hit the ground, I'm going to go into the shadow world, so we, like, splash through the ground and end up, like, in the weird, like, under-the-ground shadow place when we land.
Okay, and you're jumping onto the tower doing this?
Yeah.
Yep, so it happens exactly the way you say. You guys
Cool.
end up falling through what looks like a dark puddle on the ground. Yeah, you guys are in the shadow world now.
And then we can, like, pop back out, right?
Correct.
All right, cool.
All right, so you guys are on the tower.
Luna, Peach, you have your orders.
Peach says, good luck, and then turns her Yoshi around and begins to fly back in the direction of the battle.
You guys are gonna do great.
Are there any nearby, like, balconies or entryways, or is there just the stained glass window? Is that the only way in?
The stained glass window is the most obvious way in. There are, however, smaller windows, but they're like, quite thin.
I'll say, turn to Nico and I'll say, well, we could try and break through that stained glass, but that might be a little conspicuous.
Every time I want to do something now, I have to, like, scan my spells to see if I've done it before.
We don't necessarily have to use magic.
Yes, we do.
I can climb walls because I'm in a cat suit. That's, like, the one power I have.
I mean, okay, but I can't, so I think that...
I can hold you like a piggyback, right?
Sure.
Don't make it weird.
Alright, let's do it.
So Nico climbs on top of Vivian's back.
Oh boy, does she.
Great. Nice.
And Vivian is, of course, dressed like a cat and wearing a collar. This is definitely someone's fetish.
Guarantee you this very picture exists on DeviantArt somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna Spider-Man or cat girl down the wall and in through one of the little arrow slits.
Cool. You come out into, like, a large, empty chamber. Well, it's empty with the exception of a big sort of technological setup against one wall with a very prominent, I mean, it sort of looks like a cell phone tower sticking up out of the center of it. One of the walls is basically the other side of that stained glass Bowser window. The other noteworthy thing in this room is that there are 6 warp pipes all coming from different angles, and as you guys land in the room, you see that snake-like piranha plants emerge out of all of them.
Oh.
Nico, it is your turn.
So Nico says, rocket launcher. 31.
Vivian's gonna turn to Nico and say, what's a rocket launcher?
You'll see.
Nico, a rocket launcher appears in your arms.
Sweet. I fire it.
We just see a shot of a missile leaving this rocket launcher, and then we see a shot of the exterior of the tower as the Bowser stained glass window explodes outward in smoke and fire. The camera slowly pans inside, and we see the wreckage of the warp pipes and of the console, with the antenna hanging off of it uselessly, its light dying. And then, popping up from the Shadow Realm, come Vivian and Nico, safe from the explosion.
Yeah.
The pitch of the massive battle around Mushroom Castle noticeably changes as the countless robots who had been turning the tide against the invaders and beginning to turn the attack into a rout, the robots suddenly jerk to an uneven stop. The lights on their metal bodies flicker unsteadily, their limbs twitch, and they pause, seemingly lost in thought, as if listening for a noise that they can't hear anymore. That moment of hesitation is all that the beleaguered members of the One United People need. They unleash devastating counterattacks, damaging, dismantling, and destroying their mechanical enemies. The Koopas, who had been delighting in the destruction that their allies had been providing, suddenly realize that this battle has almost certainly just turned against them. Deep in Mushroom Castle, Bowser bangs his fists angrily against the buttons on the console in front of him, but the robotic armies displayed across the several screens fail to respond, standing aggravatingly still as they are slaughtered in vast numbers by the suddenly emboldened rebels. Smoke boils from Bowser's nostrils as he turns to another separate console and bangs on the buttons there. A shadowy figure appears on the console's screen. "Something wrong?" the figure asks. "I'll say something's wrong. Your machines are hunks of garbage. What's wrong with them? They're getting destroyed out there. You said they could stand up to anything." "There's nothing wrong with my machines. Perhaps you've been deploying them poorly. There's no substitute for tactical intelligence." "My tactics are flawless," Bowser roars, ripping the console from the wall. And as the image of the shadowy figure blinks from the screen, Bowser screams at it one more time. "If your machines can't handle one little threat, then I'll have to take matters into my own claws." Extraordinary League is produced by Dan Mulkerin, with logo design by Claire Mulkerin.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com for our theme song, Motherload, and to TabletopAudio.com for our background music and ambient sound effects.
You can find us on Twitter at SmashFic Podcast and search for the Smash Fiction Podcast on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube.
Subscribe on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Smash Fiction is made possible thanks to our supporters on Patreon at patreon.com/smashfictionpodcast. Please consider donating as little as $1 each month. It helps us keep the show going, and we have great rewards and extra content for those who help us out.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
Dan's
right.
trying to get me to pick something out of my teeth, and like nobody else can see me but you, Dan.
Alright.
You know what?
Fine.
I hope it's awesome, whatever
Just
it
be a
is.
savage in front of God and everything.
Oh, and you just make a claim about yourself?
in front
God's
of your
always watching,
lizards.
kid.
That's true.
Maybe she's hungry. Go ahead.
And his big thing has always been stuff and teeth.
Yep.
Famously.
That was actually what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. He was like, nope, these people haven't invented floss yet, and I can't stand it.
It's a real nitpicker, that God.
You know, I would suggest putting this at the end, but I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'm
this
not so
actually
sure
might
about
just
this
be
one.
the episode. Like,
Yeah.
no league, just us talking about this.
Yoshi. Oh, sorry, I'm learning how to speak Yoshi, so.
Oh my god,
You know,
he's a Yoshi weeb now.
He's gonna come back with a
doing
Yoshi
good.
accent.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
I
Just
wish.
start
that's so good.
appropriating Yoshi culture.
He's gonna wear those little red shoes everywhere.
I mean, he already is.
Well, they gave that was a gift.
That's true. He is an honorary Yoshi.
And
So.
I've
Walk
already
around
used
the
the get
cell.
woke spell. No!
Oh, he's gonna paint himself green and we're gonna be like, okay, that's an intervention.
Oh, God.